Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name is Miguel, and today we're taking a look at a watch that, in my opinion, blends motorsport inspiration and independent watchmaking creativity the right way. This is the Zelos 42mm carbon heritage, and I've got to say, this one really surprised me. If you've been following the channel for a while, you already know I'm a fan of what Zelos is doing. I currently have 2 Zelos watches in my collection, and I plan on adding more. What they continue to deliver at their price point is honestly ahead of a lot of competitors right now. Let's start with the case because that's where this watch immediately separates itself. The Carbon Heritage features a 42mm forged carbon case with a lug-to-lug of 46mm. Thickness comes in at 10.8mm without the crystal and at 12.5mm with the box-shaped sapphire crystal. And in between the lugs it measures 22mm. Those are great proportions on paper, and on my 6 7/8 inch wrist, it fits really nicely. Even though it's 42mm, that 46mm lug-to-lug keeps it compact and controlled on the wrist. Now here's something that really stands out. With the strap on, this watch only weighs in at 82 grams. That's incredibly light for a 42mm watch, and that's the beauty of forged carbon. This material is commonly used in automotive and motorsport because of its strength to weight ratio, and you absolutely feel that benefit here. The watch has presence, but it doesn't have that wrist fatigue you sometimes get with steel sports watches. It almost disappears once you're wearing it. Visually, forged carbon also gives each case its own unique pattern. No two are exactly the same. There's something organic about it that feels special every time you look down at your wrist. The crown is signed and screwed down, contributing to the 100 meters of water resistance. It operates smoothly and feels solid, reinforcing that this is meant to be a durable, daily wear, not just a design exercise. Now let's talk about the dial, because this is where the Carbon Heritage really shines. Zelos created dial variants inspired by iconic motorsports liveries, and they executed them beautifully. The Carbon Heritage version channels the Gulf livery with the black outlines that tie perfectly into the forged carbon case. What makes this even cooler is how they achieve these colors. Zelos used automotive paints and applied a clear coat for added sheen. That's why the dial has this depth and gloss that you don't typically see at this price point. It feels rich and intentional. The movement inside is a Miyota 9133, which features a power reserve complication integrated into the dial like a fuel gauge. For a car-inspired watch, that detail is just perfect. It's cohesive without being forced. And here's something important. The Miyota 9133 has ceased production. That means we're looking at one of the last few watches to feature this layout. That alone makes it feel a bit special and collectible. The execution of that power reserve indicator is fantastic. It's clean, easy to read, and adds a level of mechanical interest that elevates the entire dial. Pair that with the beautifully skeletonized hands and you've got a dial that constantly draws your attention. Even the date wheel is Lume, something you rarely see. That level of attention to detail really stands out. Speaking of Lume, Zelos is using BGW9 Superluminova here. It doesn't glow Seiko level bright, but it has a really cool tone and it's different from most of what's out there. The Lume here is definitely different. It's not blue, it's not green, it's actually orange, which gives it personality. It glows evenly and lasts a few hours, which is perfectly usable in low light situations. The box-shaped sapphire crystal with inner AR coating is another highlight. It's clear, distortion-free, and gives the watch a slight vintage charm. The AR coating does its job well, letting the dial shine without distracting reflections. Flip the watch over and you'll see a silhouette of a car on the caseback, subtly reminding you of the automotive inspiration, and I really appreciate how Zelos handle that theme. A lot of car-inspired watches can feel, well, overly literal or even tacky. This one isn't. It takes inspiration from the motorsport world and executes it tastefully. The leather strap is well constructed and comfortable right out of the box. It comes with quick release spring bars and matching black hardware, which pairs perfectly with the carbon case. I'm not personally a huge fan of the padded look. I tend to prefer flatter straps, but that's purely subjective. From a quality standpoint, it's very well done. Now, one small critique: if you don't like the stock strap and want to swap it out, you'll need to source a 22mm strap with black hardware to maintain the cohesive look, and those straps are readily available in the market. So it's not an issue. I'm just mentioning it because most of the straps in my personal collection have stainless steel hardware. If you throw it on a strap with standard steel hardware, it slightly changes the visual flow. Not a deal breaker at all, just something detail-oriented collectors will notice. At launch, the carbon models are priced at $489. When you consider forged carbon, a discontinued Miyota 9133 with power reserve complication, automotive paint dial finishing, sapphire crystal, 100 meters of water resistance, and thoughtful design throughout, that's actually extremely competitive. And I'd be remiss not to mention Zelos' packaging. They include one of the coolest watch rolls in the business, is well constructed, functional, and something you actually get to use. I don't know how many brands at this price point include packaging this thoughtful. Overall, what Zelos is doing and delivering for the price is honestly ahead of much of the competitors. The carbon heritage feels cohesive, intentional, and genuinely different without trying too hard. It's motorsport inspired done right. Let me know your thoughts on Zelos watches. How many do you have in your collection? And are you planning on picking this one up? As always, thank you for tuning in. I appreciate it. Be safe out there and stay humble.